Peace. This is what you need to know right now. Currently, we are in the 40th week of the year. It is imperative that you sharpen your mathematics. What I mean is this: the language of God, the language of the universe, is mathematics. So if you are not proficient in your ability to express and manifest mathematics, you will always end up at a fault. Let me give you an example of what I mean. As we know, consciousness, wokeness, awareness is becoming more and more mainstream. But what you will not hear from these people, this spirit, is the language of mathematics. This is how you can tell who you are dealing with. How sharp is their mathematics? How much attention do they even pay to mathematics? While everyone is trying to put together words to sound intelligent, listening to this person, to that person, so on and so forth. Mathematics must be manifested from within. So this is why I will always start off with the mathematics, just to show and prove that everything that comes after will be in accordance to what came before it. The 40th degree. We've already discussed the four: Rahu, Medusa, Uranus. Then comes that zero, manifesting the energies of Pluto. The demon from the underworld. As we know, Rahu was a demon, but not just any demon. The one who superseded the law, who did the impossible, who became immortal, who became a symbol of worldly ambition to gratify the ego, because the ego is necessary. The ego serves as a shield for your subconscious mind. Because if you allow anything to just enter into your subconscious mind, you will have no control over your reality. So the ego is set there as a guardian against any programming that might be detrimental to your progression. However, we know energy has a positive and negative charge. So the ego could also be destructive to your progression as well. We understand Pluto to embody the energies of transformation, to cause a metamorphosis in your life, to activate the abilities of alchemy. So once we fuse these ideas together, we come to the conclusion of creating a metamorphosis, creating a alchemical reaction so that the ego will step aside, leaving the subconscious mind open to transformation. Once again, the word itself, the word mathematics, if you reduce it to a single digit, the digit that it can be reduced to is the number 4. So the word mathematics in and of itself takes us directly to Rahu, takes us directly to Uranus, which is a higher octave of Mercury, which represents logic. So the higher octave of logic becomes super logic. What does that mean? When something is logical, we can say logic and reason, communication, all of these attributes associated with Mercury describes the left brain, all left-brained activity. So being as though Uranus is a higher octave of this left-brained activity, this means Uranus now deals with the psychic ability of the left brain, or the invisible forces of the left brain. These invisible forces have a greater pull on us because logic and reason are things that can be learned, arithmetic, so on and so forth. You can go to school and learn these things, but in order to understand the invisible forces of nature, you must have first-hand experience. You must directly be able to influence. Because Uranus, not only being a higher octave of Mercury, it also connects you to your holy guardian angel, otherwise known as the higher self. But I want to refrain from using these terms because they have become mainstream. So there's no point of me saying what anyone else can say. So I will be using different terms just to let it be known that we still have much to learn. Do not put yourself in a box because you now are familiar with the lingo that has become mainstream. Consciousness is dead. I said it first. Consciousness is dead. Whenever something can be repeated from someone who has no structure in magic, it is dead. When someone can just twist words and utilize words without any type of personal experience, it's no longer relevant. So because the average person has become familiar with this lingo, it must now change for the occultists. A new lingo must be developed if you wish to seek deeper levels. This will be the only thing that will allow the ego to move or step to the side. By introducing yourself to words that are not being used by the public. Your language should not be the same as the public, so that when you speak, people listen because they have not heard it before. If you're saying the same thing that rappers are saying, that anybody on YouTube is saying, why should anyone listen? Because you're not saying anything different. You're just repeating what has already been described for 10, 20, 30 years. So we must become familiar with a new set of terms that allow us to go deeper in order for that 40th degree to fully manifest, you must speak the language of mathematics once again. Because if we take it a step further, as we know, 0 just amplifies whatever number is in front of it or in back of it. The 0 can represent the womb of the universe. The 4 can represent the culture. If we take it to supreme mathematics, we know the 4 is culture. Then the 0 would be the cipher. Culture, cipher. Culture is a manifestation of one's knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Without knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, there is no culture, because your culture must be free. You must be a free thinker. In order to be a free thinker, you must be able to gather knowledge, to look, listen, and observe. Right? This has already been said. You become wise from experience. You begin to understand the internal workings of a thing from that experience. So understanding can manifest because now you have gathered or gained clarity, because you understand not just the outer reality of a thing, but the inner reality of a thing. And from that internal and external understanding, then that culture is put forth and made manifest. That's how you become free in your thinking. It is a process. That's why mathematics is a process. The cipher in which the culture is set forth is the mind. We must understand the nature of the mind, because the mind is invisible, which is different than the brain, because all the brain does is send signals. But the mind is not centralized, as your thoughts should not be centralized, because once again, your culture should produce freedom. Your culture should allow you to think freely. You should not feel stuck or stagnant due to your culture, due to your surroundings. And if you do feel that way, you must sharpen your mathematics once again. Because we can try to make sense out of spirituality, but you will not have a deeper understanding of any of these things if your mathematics is not sharp. Because the mathematics are the keys to unlocking all of these secrets. Not words, not terms, not phrases. So we are going back to the numbers, because any word can be reduced to a number. So if you don't even know the energies behind the words in which you use, you cannot say you are properly utilizing mathematics to build your reality. Our reality must be established on a leveled foundation, which is why the 4 represents the 4 directions or the 4 elements. Wherever you see that 4, it represents completion. It represents something that is laid firm, something that is steady. Once that foundation is laid, then that metamorphosis can take place. You must carve a space for yourself to experience yourself. And this is why we go out into the world. This is why we go out into the streets and make manifest who and what we are. Because if you are who you say you are, then the people will let you know. Not because you told them, because your energy emits mathematics. So you can be silent in any environment, but you are the most powerful. Not because you're opening your mouth, not because you're using fancy terms, because your essence, your being, you embody the principles of mathematics. And when you embody the principles of mathematics, no one can take that away from you. That's not something a book can give you. That's not something that you can get from anyone else. You must utilize the tools for yourself in order to know how they work. Once you have established your tool set, only then can you understand what to do with the tools. You must understand their functions. And once you understand their functions, you can then utilize your creativity to do original things, to produce original thoughts. The reason why we see a lack of originality is because, once again, the mathematics are not sharp. In order to be original at anything, you must start with the math, not the words. Anybody can say anything, but you cannot fake your understanding of the internal workings of reality. You can't pretend, because once again, the world will let you know exactly where you stand, how people respond to your energy, how people treat you, what type of lifestyle you live. All this is not based on the words or what you think you are. It's based on who you actually are. Not your thoughts, but your essence. Because your words will not change your essence, but mathematics allowed you to build your essence from the nothingness. From nothing to something. The only thing that can make something from the ethers manifest into the physical plane is that process of mathematical ability, that internal and external understanding of your tool set, because there's mathematics in every dimension of reality. The mathematician, the one who can scale the entirety of the universe. And before we even speak about the universe, the world, before we speak about the world, your country, before your country, your city, before your city, your state, your neighborhood, mathematics can be applied to any dimension of life. So if you have not even scaled your own address, if you don't even know what number or frequency you live in, how can you say you are taking advantage of mathematics and using it properly when you don't even know what number you live in and you're in the home? Whatever job you go to, you don't even understand the mathematics behind the job. There's mathematics everywhere. So if that is a reality that you ignore because you choose to speak words and utilize terms that have become popular, you're completely missing the point. But again, no one else will be able to make this clear to you, because you cannot pretend. It will be known, it will be felt, it can be touched. People, once again, the world, only sees you for what you present yourself to be. The world cannot be fake with you. We can be fake with ourselves. We can pretend to be something we are not. But the moment we step outside of those doors and we have to deal with reality, the only thing we will be faced against is exactly who and what we really are. If you truly hold power, it will be felt, it will be known. It's not based on how you dress, how you look, your tone of voice, your skin tone. None of that is relevant when it comes to mathematics. Because when you are sharp with your mathematics, you naturally evolve. And it can be seen, it can be felt. It becomes very obvious that you are set apart from everyone else. You don't have to position yourself. You don't have to convince anyone of this. Because you have already put that work in internally and externally. So the only thing that the world sees is your own results. The world can only see your results. But you must operate from the world or the level of cause versus effect. Most people are just reacting to the effects of reality versus producing the cause of reality. When you deal with the cause of reality, then the effects can be predicted. You can predict when you deal with cause. But if you just react to effects, you're already the last one to the party. Things are already occurring and you're trying to catch up. You're trying to figure out what's going on in the world instead of seeing things before they happen. There is no way to predict the future without understanding the mathematical nature of reality, the causes of things. But this is where we find chaos. This is the difference between Einstein and Tesla. Einstein was convinced that reality was based in order. Einstein would have never believed or could not believe that the world is based in chaos. However, Tesla welcomed the chaos. When the chaos is welcomed, you are able to see what no one else can, because you are not afraid of what could happen or what might happen. You're not walking around thinking life is orderly. You understand that chaos theory is always in effect, which means you can have two people at the exact same place at the exact same time, but have two completely different experiences. What causes two people to be at the same place at the same time, but have two different experiences? Mathematics. If one person is skilled and sharp in their mathematics and the other person is not, the one who is skilled in math can see more, can see deeper, can see into things, can see the inner workings of things. Versus the one who is not skilled, the only thing that they can perceive is the external reality, the world of effects. The one who is skilled in mathematics perceives the world of cause, can perceive the chaos and predict what may occur. Versus the other person who's just watching to see what happens, then describe what happens after the fact. So I want to explain these things in a very simple way, because you will see it manifest in your own life if you take these things seriously, if you become the mathematician, the esoteric mathematician. If you put attributes behind those numbers, if you put planetary energies behind those numbers, if you put the Kabbalistic terms and essences behind these numbers. This is why we have the systems already in place for us to pick up and take to the next level. Pick up the tools of mathematics and take it to the next level. Ignore the mainstream. Ignore the world of effects. Focus on cause. And from that realm of cause, do you create reality from the nothingness? So, with that, I bear peace. Like, comment, subscribe, support the channel, Cash App, Asha, Renew. We out. Peace.